going on, everybody? Spartacus here, back with another Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath video commentary. We have a great matchup today of two heavy hitter players going to be facing off on Tournament Decision. We have HiDrauLicK playing as the pink Zocom, going to be facing off against the cyan or blue, whichever you choose to call it, Tan2 Hard, which is going to be a Smurf of Dirty Dutch, playing as the vanilla GDI. So let's go ahead and jump right into this game. And we are playing on 1.02 plus, and we are going to be seeing our vanilla GDI player, Dirty Dutch, going to be playing down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen today, and we have HiDrauLicK going to be playing in the upper right-hand corner as the pink Zocom. So we can see just a standard schmandard dual racks, dual engineer out to cap the Tiberium spikes, as well as a drafted tower up the center for HiDrauLicK. Nothing too fancy here, and let's swing down to Dirty Dutch's base, and we do see a single engineer out already, going to be likely queued up to go around to cap this upper Tiberium spike, and an engineer coming down the middle as well, likely to go cap one of the towers, and an engineer off to cap the Tiberium spike. So an interesting decision out of Dirty Dutch, going to be trying to secure this middle ground early in the game in order to prevent any pit bulls from harassing. And we are going to be seeing the foxhole being dug directly in front of this garrison here, just going to be trying to prevent the snipe of his engineer while it tries to cap that tower. And we are going to see the tower cap. Yes, it is. So he does manage to secure both of his spikes, very likely here, unless this squad for whatever reason is moved out, but I don't believe he would make it there in time anyways. So Dirty Dutch with going to be a little bit behind in economy just because he went for the extra engineer, but let's see if he can make up for that by having that tower protection in the middle of the map. So nothing too fancy here. We do see just a single refinery, single war factory, and let's slide up to HiDrauLicK's base. It appears as though he is queuing yet another refinery. He has the same setup as well. So two refineries, one war factory. Again, very, very standard. It's interesting that it doesn't appear as though either player has really gone for any kind of a pit bull or anything to scout the other. It appears as though they are focusing on just getting their macro up at this point, just getting their economy online and up and running. So we do have a scouting squad out for HiDrauLicK, which is going to be trying to sneak his way around to get some eyes on Dirty Dutch's base, which is going to be good for him. And he has managed to secure the bunker in the south as well, which is going to be a great pickup, as he is going to be able to prevent any additional scouting. So we do have a pitbull out for Dirty Dutch, and he is going to be able to spot the comm center down for HiDrauLicK, and let's see if HiDrauLicK is going to continue to go with this anyways. I would have to imagine that he has to at this point. Yes, he does. He goes ahead and puts down the airfield, which is going to be some early orcas to get into HiDrauLicK's base, or I'm sorry, into Dirty Dutch's base to do some harassment. And we see the triple refinery down for Dirty Dutch, and putting down an additional power plant, likely going to be trying to get a command post down just to be able to counter these orcas. And let's take a look up and see. It appears as though HiDrauLicK has chosen to go ahead and maneuver down south with his MCV, and this pitbull is going to be getting sniped by the Predator tank out for HiDrauLicK. HiDrauLicK, he has the nice advantage of playing on 1.02 plus with Zocom, as the Predator tanks are no longer bugged, so they are not going to be giving away extra XP, so he can feel free to build those without any real issues. So HiDrauLicK still hasn't deployed his MCV, not quite sure why, but I would imagine he's going to be looking to expand as opposed to continue to place an additional refinery down on his middle field, or his starting field rather. And the orcas coming in and managing to snipe down one of the harvesters, but one of them are going to be going down, as well as a single slingshot and AA battery are down, and we've seen an additional slingshot out for HiDrauLicK. I'm sorry, for Dirty Dutch, I'm going to be getting these guys mixed up all day, as for whatever reason I get the two mixed up in my head. So let's take a look and see what HiDrauLicK is choosing to do here. It appears as though he does have three orcas down at this point, and we do see him taking a swing at this center tower, as he does have this force that appears as though it's ready to put a little bit of pressure on his main base. And this orca going to be coming in to put some additional damage on that tower. That tower is likely going to be going down. No point of really repairing it. It's not going to be able to do a whole lot. And we do see the expansion out for Dirty Dutch, and I was a little bit confused as to how he was placing down structures while he was on the move, but he has gone for a crane to keep his build order going while he is on the move. And we do see the airfield down, likely going to be going for Firehawks to deal with these Orcas, and yes, there is the Firehawk. That is going to be the typical response from a GDI player in order to cost-effectively counter the Firehawks and prevent any additional damage being done. And we do see that one lone Firehawk going to be out, likely with the missile loadout. Just going to be sitting here waiting, saying, hey, you know, if you fly over here, you're going to be definitely losing at least one Orca. And it appears as though HiDrauLicK doesn't really care. He's going to be flying in anyways. Going to be sniping down one of the Orcas, but that Mammoth tank is going to be taking a significant amount of damage and manages to get picked up by the remaining units from HiDrauLicK. And HiDrauLicK managing to pick up both Predator tanks and the Mammoth tank, so that's going to be a significant win for him. But the Sonic Emitter going down on the front lines for Dirty Dutch is going to be able to fend this off pretty well. But great control out of HiDrauLicK as he is able to avoid getting hit by that Sonic Emitter. But once again, we have another Mammoth tank out for Dirty Dutch, which is going to be able to very easily deal with these units without a whole lot of issue. And this Harvester may be going down unless there is a good shot. Oh, and the Sonic Emitter does manage to fire a shot off, and yes, it does. It does pick those two units up. So good control from HiDrauLicK to keep those units alive, but just wasn't able to do the damage that he needs to do. And we see the Tech Center and Marv going to be coming out on the very front lines here, as it appears as though HiDrauLicK is going to be trying to HiDrauLicK is going to be trying to Marvist Dirty Dutch's natural expansion prior to him being able to get here. So that is going to be not good for Dirty Dutch, as he's going to have to fight through the base of HiDrauLicK in order to get to some more economy or choose to expand up north. Let's see what he chooses to do here. And we do see a structure being queued. We do have a Juggernauts out for Dirty Dutch, which is going to be a good choice, especially on a map like this, as you do have the terrain advantage of being able to sit on the other side and say, hey, your Marv can't shoot at me, but I can shoot at you. And we are going to see an engineer out to cap this Tiberium spike for HiDrauLicK, and the Shockwave artillery going to be coming down for Dirty Dutch, managing to knock out the power of both the Reclamator hub and the Marv. But I don't know exactly why he chose to do this. Maybe it was just to prevent too much Marvisting from happening, because his units were far out of range, and these two Zone Raiders going to be doing a fair bit of damage to that Mammoth tank. Not a very good job from Dirty Dutch to prevent that Mammoth tank from going down. He likely could have microed away in order to prevent that unit from being lost, as that's a significant loss. And we do see it is going to be triple Zone Raider in the Marv for HiDrauLicK, and it appears as though he is going to be falling back with his Marv, as it is going to be taking a significant amount of damage from the six Juggernauts out for Dirty Dutch. So a great response from Dirty Dutch, managing to push this force back, all the while being able to keep his economy up and running. And let's take a look. We do have 3 Firehawks out for HiDrauLicK, likely to deal with the Firehawks and potential of Hammerheads out for Dirty Dutch. But I don't know if they're going to really be able to do the damage needed to these additional Juggernauts. But we do have triple airfield down, and actually quadruple if you count the one at the main base. Triple airfield going likely for Orcas. It doesn't appear as though this airfield is queuing anything. Maybe it was just placed down to get some additional upgrades. But we do see a few of the Juggernauts being picked off by the Orcas, and it appears as though this one Juggernaut is being left behind, maybe on a hold fire stance. I'm not quite sure what was going on there. Likely wouldn't have gotten away anyways, but could have at least pulled him back somewhat. And we are going to be seeing this force getting cleaned up fairly easily, and the two very good splitting from HiDrauLicK as he manages to pick up both of those slingshots as well as all 3 of those Juggernauts. So great splitting on the bombs of the Zocom Orcas. That's really the, I would say, toughest thing that the Zocom player has to do, especially choosing to go with Orcas, as they fire off the rounds so fast. You really have to know when and where to click in order to get the the correct splitting of the bombs in order to be the most cost effective with those units. And we can see HiDrauLicK is choosing to move his MCV up to the northern green Tiberium field, but Dirty Dutch has already got an outpost down there and is likely already going to be queuing his refinery in order to capture that. We do see the barracks down for Dirty Dutch, likely going to be trying to reclaim some of these husks. One husk does get sniped and the second one does as well, but that engineer is not cancelled in time. So the one engineer is going to be able to recap this Tiberium spike, but the other one is simply just going to have to sit and wait it out and see if it can be used at some point. We do still have one more Juggernaut husk left, or rather one Juggernaut, as it has not yet died, and it appears as though we're going to see the Orca strike out for HiDrauLicK, but it's not going to get any damage. Does very little to the actual refinery, but the Orca's coming in and managing to pick off both the remaining Juggernaut and the docking Harvester, and that's going to be a good pickup for HiDrauLicK. So let's go ahead and sweep up north and take a look and see what's going on. We do have a refinery down for Dirty Dutch, already managing to get some economy off of this northern field, and a second refinery going down as well, and likely he does not see the actual MCV out from HiDrauLicK. And HiDrauLicK also choosing to go for a refinery as opposed to any base defenses. And we do see the laser field down, just trying to prevent the bombing runs from the Firehawks, but they are likely running the missile loadout anyways. And it appears as though we have 8 Orcas coming out for HiDrauLicK, going to be sniping down 1, 2, 3, all 3 Harvesters going down, and going to be putting additional damage on that refinery. And we see the additional Harvesters out, 3 more Harvesters coming up for Dirty Dutch. But losing 3 Harvesters there at his newest expansion is going to be a significant loss. And we do see the slingshots coming down for Dirty Dutch, and we do have a lone zone head that's going to be in the main base of... Wow, I'm just speechless at this point. A great choice from Dirty Dutch to go for the zone head to get some damage on the units as they're on the deck, and these slingshots to just park outside the airfields just to pick them off at the second they take off. So he was really damned if you do, damned if you don't situation there. And the 3... Why are these... I'm extremely confused right now. It appears as though these 3 Harvesters have been queued back all the way back to his starting refinery, as opposed to docking at the refineries on his expansion. I'm not sure if that is in order to prevent the attack from the infantry as well as Orcas, but I'm honestly not sure. And it appears as though the 3 airfields down south have been sold off and have been rebuilt as the combat support airfields, which is an interesting choice, as he is not going to be able to resupply any of these units if they go down. So he has the ability to repair and resupply, but does not have the ability to rebuild in the event, the likely event that he is going to be losing some units here. So let's see what we have from Dirty Dutch. We have the single watchtower down with the AP ammo upgrade, as well as a few Predator tanks out. Should really be pulling that Predator tank back at this point, as it's just going to be getting murdered by these rocket squads. But no, that rocket squad choosing to fire at an alternative target. And once again, the slingshots coming out for Dirty Dutch. Going to be trying to get in here and prevent these Orcas from really doing too much damage. And once again, the bomb split from HiDrauLicK just going to be great. Going to be managing to pick off all 3 remaining tanks. And oh, there are going to be a couple of losses there of Orcas for HiDrauLicK, and that Harvester pulling back at just the right time in order to prevent going down. And we just have a few Rifleman squads. It appears as though HiDrauLicK has gone ahead and upgraded the composite armor. So his, I'm sorry, not composite armor, but the Tiberium field suits, I believe it is, which is going to give him a bit of a health point boost versus the vanilla GDI counterpart. And once again, the Orcas are back to snipe down the economy from Dirty Dutch. Going to be getting some damage output on that Harvester. And we are going to see 2 AP watchtowers against a single unupgraded watchtower, which is going to be likely going down any moment now. And yes, there it goes. And the rocket troops out for HiDrauLicK are going to be sniping down that remaining harvester for Dirty Dutch. That's not going to be good. He has lost a tremendous amount of harvesters this game. And once again, the MCV is on the move for HiDrauLicK, and these orcas have just been a nuisance all game. And let's see where they go, if they're going to come down here and take a swing at the remaining harvesters. No, they are going to be actually taking out another harvester at this expansion. So Dirty Dutch really being shut down in terms of trying to gather economy at this field. And let's see where the MCV has gone. The MCV is in the middle of the map. It appears as though he's going to try to sneak down into the southern portion, and the APCs as well as the slingshot are going to be up here to try to deal with this infantry and aircraft out for HiDrauLicK. And that elite slingshot getting sniped down would have probably been a good idea to keep that alive, as in fully heroic slingshot against especially Zocom orcas is going to be a really tough thing to deal with, and going to be choosing to snipe down the combat airfield. And HiDrauLicK, once again, great on the micro, manages to get up in the air before actually losing the airfield, so all of his units are going to be staying alive. And the Firehawks coming in and bombing these power plants. Great use of those, as he realizes that the threat of the aircraft is not really imminent, so he can choose to use those units instead of just having them sitting on the deck not doing anything. And the APCs are going to be actually strong enough to prevent any additional economy from being established from HiDrauLicK up on that northern field. So he has managed to somehow defend that out, even though, despite the losses that he took with all of his harvesters from the orcas. And once again, the orcas are going to be swinging in. These units being bunched up, they do manage to snipe down 2. They probably could have gotten more if they were microed a little bit better, but again, HiDrauLicK doing a great job of microing these units. Going to be pulling away his orcas at just the opportune time in order to prevent them from being lost, as this airfield is going to be sniped down. And once again, this APC army going to be pushing forward and doing some damage to HiDrauLick's base. He really needs to find a solution to that, and likely it's going to be a Predator tank transition out for him, as that would be the wise decision in that situation. And it appears as though Dirty Dutch is really just kind of stuck in this northern portion of the map, and he has sent his MCV down to the south, has rather pushed forward a little bit, likely trying to get up here and secure some economy on this field, but is going to notice that it is already being secured by HiDrauLicK. So HiDrauLicK doing a good job of choosing when and where to expand, and just keeping the hurt on Dirty Dutch's economy. But Dirty Dutch doing a great job of steamrolling with this force here, not taking a whole lot of losses, but managing to do a significant amount of damage in the meantime. And we just have a few rifleman squads out, as well as rocket troops going to be out for Dirty Dutch, either from sold off buildings or whatnot. It appears as though the Firehawks were used to bomb yet another power plant, as he is likely going to be cleaning up all of the power plants for Dirty Dutch. And Dirty Dutch's MCV is under a little bit of pressure here, as the orcas and Firehawks are likely going to be taking a swing at them. But the War Factory on the front line, again, just going to be there to try to get some units out on the front line, likely going to be trying to go for either Predator tanks or some kind of Shatterer combination, I'm not quite sure. And we have an AP watchtower down on the front lines, not going to really be doing a whole lot of damage. And once again, the power is down for Dirty Dutch. So Dirty Dutch really in a tight spot as far as power is concerned, and the bombs are going to be coming in, likely going to be sniping down this MCV. Yes, the MCV is down before that engineer is out, going to be able to get out and not capture, but rather repair the MCV for Dirty Dutch. So let's see what he chooses to do with that engineer. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to take a look and see if he's able to put it to good use, maybe to come up and cap the Tiberium spike, just to give himself a little bit more of an economy advantage. Appears as though it's just being left behind at this point. So let's see what we have. And the Firehawks coming out for HiDrauLicK, but are going to be getting both sniped down. That is not going to be good at all. And only just a single Zocom Orca, granted it is veteran, going to be surviving from this force here, but this airfield is under a lot of pressure at this point. And once again, the slingshot's coming in and just being the absolute shutdown mechanic for these orcas. just parking outside of the base and just managing to prevent any additional economy. So it appears as though he has gone ahead, HiDrauLicK rather, has gone ahead and sold off his MCV as well, likely to just be able to power Predator tanks out to defend his remaining structures, which is really just a war factory at this point. It appears as though he does have a single refinery out, but the harvester has been pulled back and off the line, so he is not going to be gathering any economy, whereas Dirty Dutch has 2 harvesters on that field there, a single harvester on this field, but the refinery is powered down, likely due to power problems, as well as this war factory on the front line. So it's really just going to be war factory versus war factory, and it appears as though Dirty Dutch has gone ahead and used the APCs to place down some mines just to prevent these units from pushing forward while he is able to get the repairs. And oh, we do have an APC with an engineer, so he has managed to sneak that engineer away in the middle of that fray there. And the Pitbull is going to be out for HiDrauLicK to spot these mines, just to be able to get in here and destroy them without actually taking any damage, so that he can push onto this force without losing his tanks. And where is this APC going? What is he going to do? Is this going to be an APC engineer cap, or is this going to be a push to just cap this Tiberium spike and just get his economy kind of further forward? I would imagine, honestly, at this point, that his economy is pretty good, that he doesn't really have a whole lot to worry about. And Dirty Dutch is pushing forward just a little bit, but both players are going to be just kind of hovering right around their war factory, just going to be protecting it as they realize that this is really their only production structure. And let's take a look. This APC is out for Dirty Dutch. He is going to be coming up near the only remaining refinery for HiDrauLicK, and the Zocom harvester is coming back, and oh my god, he is going to be losing his refinery. Yes, he is. He loses his refinery to an APC engineer. That is likely GG for HiDrauLicK, as I don't see how he could possibly recover at this point, as he has to deal with the not only laser fielded but much larger army out of Dirty Dutch, as well as the economy, as he has no source of income aside from a single Tiberium spike, which is, I'm sorry, he has 2 Tiberium spikes, but yet again, that is not going to be enough to power any kind of forces out of this war factory at the rate that he really needs to. And this APC just doing a victory dance, likely just coming down and saying, hey, you didn't see me coming, so now you're going to die. And now we have the concave coming out for Dirty Dutch, and likely this is just going to be a steamroll, as he realizes that there is no economy left for HiDrauLicK, so he just needs to get in here and do some damage, and that is going to be GG. And yes, these forces are getting cleaned up, just doing a little bit of microing, but likely both players just saying, hey, great game, you know, it was well fought, and an interesting ending for sure. Seeing that cap of this refinery was just amazing. Great move out of HiDrauLicK. I'm sorry, great move out of Dirty Dutch. Very wise choice to go ahead and make use of that engineer from the sold off MCV. So what a great game. 2 very good players just showing their stuff, saying, hey, you know, we both know what we're doing, and we know when and where to strike, and we make use of every unit on the field. So great game, great micro out of HiDrauLicK. I was just constantly astonished by how he was able to split the bombs from the Zocom Orcas, which is very difficult to do. Granted, I'm not a terribly good player, but I can say that with certainty that it takes a high level of play in order to be able to use those Zocom Orcas effectively. And again, Dirty Dutch just making good choices when he was up against the wall, especially on economy, just managing to keep it up and running, even though he took a ton of losses on harvesters. So as we can see, even despite the Orca harassment all game, Dirty Dutch did manage to keep his economy up and on par with HiDrauLiCK's all game, which is likely what kept him in the game. But as we can see, HiDrauLicK wasn't able to capitalize on it and tailed off towards the end of the game. And the great choice of Dirty Dutch to use the units to his effectiveness correctly, he was able to sneak in and do what he needed to do in HiDrauLiCK's base. And
what the hell did you just say?
And I am rambling because it is late at night here, guys, and I honestly don't know what I'm saying, so I apologize if this one was a little bit rambly and a little bit kind of piecemeal. I believe it is about 2 o'clock in the morning here, but I saw this replay and I said I just got to be able to get on here and VOD it. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the game. I know I did, and we will certainly be doing this on a more regular basis. So thank you all for watching. And once again, this is Spartacus. I will catch you all next time.